In today's news, motion filed to further delay FAHIE'S trial. UK to assist with the issue of incinerator. RENNEA Powell is the new BVI Red Cross chairperson. Georgia's to become the very first BVI athlete to rep the archery at CAC Games. WINAIR is set to launch new route from Tortola to Antigua in July. We have the details of this and so much more when 284 News returns.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in. When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
Hello everyone, it is Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. Welcome to this edition of 284 News. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the very latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands and beyond. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, Premier of the Virgin Islands, Dr. The Honorable Natayo D. Wheatley, recently addressed fellow heads of government within the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States regarding the concerning situation faced by the British Virgin Islands.
As everyone is aware, the British Virgin Islands' path to a general election was not easy. We faced very difficult and uncertain circumstances. While the democratic will of the people has been clearly expressed, we still face the threat of suspension of our Constitution that is hanging over our heads by the United Kingdom Order in Council held in reserve, and a potential attempt to seize more powers over the islands.
As noted in the communique of the 73rd meeting of the OECS Authority, the Premier made his address as the territory faces, and I quote, the threat of direct rule being imposed on the people of the islands by the United Kingdom that is maintaining an order of council in reserve that would immediately suspend the territory's constitution if triggered. And I quote, the governor stationed on the islands is also seeking additional powers over the territory. The government, the people of the BVI, requested ongoing support from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States to prevent these outcomes if it continued. Now expressing gratitude, he thanked the OCS for their unwavering support during the unprecedented challenges faced by the BVI in recent years.
I'm very conscious that I would not be here this afternoon as a newly elected Premier without the unwavering support and intervention of the OECS. I again want to thank the governments and people of the Eastern Caribbean for coming to our aid. You were there for us during our darkest hour and continue to make representation on our behalf at the United Nations Special Committee on Decolonization in New York. We are grateful for your efforts to ensure that the democratic and human rights of the people of the British Virgin Islands are respected, including our inalienable right to self-determination and the well-established principle of self-governance for people seeking to achieve a full measure of self-government.
In a display of solidarity, the heads of government within the OECS expressed their unequivocal support for the British Virgin Islands. They also pledged to provide assistance in ensuring the completion of the decolonization process within the Caribbean and upholding the democratic will of the people of the BVI. Now, during his speech, the Premier made a call to action for continued collaboration in protecting democratic principles and self-governance throughout the Caribbean region.
We cannot afford to forget that the Caribbean space is not yet completely free of its colonial past. Therefore, we cannot and should not rest until the decolonization process is complete. Until all our people have received reparatory justice for the enslavement of our ancestors in these islands, and we have achieved the sustainable development and quality of life for all of our people that we so richly deserve. In this regard, the OECS is special because it brings together our governments and people in a way that overcomes the political barriers created by the colonial experience. We are able to sit together at one table, independent and non-independent, to support each other and forge a brighter future. We are anchored by a common heritage, common historical experience, and common challenges that we are stronger addressing together.
Premier Wheatley affirmed that the BVI's commitment is to work closely with the OECS and the incoming chairman. He also highlighted the shared challenges lying ahead, recognizing, of course, the importance of collaborative effort in addressing them.
I want our new chairman, Prime Minister Drew, to know, as well as fellow heads of government, ministers, and political representatives of the OECS, that you have in me and the British Virgin Islands a reliable partner as we collectively face the challenges of today and tomorrow. We will be there for you as you have been there for us. At present, we all find ourselves in an uncertain international environment where greater cooperation is needed to mitigate the negative effects on our countries. The world economy is forecast to slow down in the months ahead, marked by reduced trade as well as high interest rates that are increasing financial pressures on countries carrying high debt. The Russia-Ukraine war continues unabated, which continues to impact food, energy, and fuel prices. We face cross-border security threats by organized crime, whose elements are moving between our islands. There's also the chronic problem of gun crime, to which we are losing too many young men and young women in our region. Our young people are also increasingly vulnerable because of youth unemployment that must be reduced. Contact between the people of the Eastern Caribbean and the ability of families, visitors, and business people to get around is hampered by the current limitations of intra-regional transportation. All of these challenges are compounded by the complication of El Niño, which has historically seen the Caribbean suffer from drought and water shortages that impact agriculture and the availability of potable water. It is only by working together that we can mitigate these challenges, and the OECS is our vehicle to arrive at solutions for the sustainable development of our countries.
On the matter of the incinerator at Packwood Pond, recently appointed Minister for Health and Social Development, the Honorable Vincent O. Wheatley, has vowed to resolve the incinerator issue at Packwood Pond, Tortola, using the very quickest available method. Minister Wheatley made the comment following a recent site visit at the landfill with Governor His Excellency John Ranking and officials from the United Kingdom. He said the territory has been without an incinerator for far too long, and the current method of managing the waste material is clearly not environmentally friendly, nor is it sustainable.
What we're doing here is not sustainable at all. We've been taking the garbage up because there's no incineration taking place here at Packwood Pond. And they spread the garbage out, and then they use the topsoil from the hill to cover the garbage. However, what we are finding now is that the topsoil is very limited. It's more stone than soil. So we must come now back to incineration at some point in time and get this incinerator here fixed. It has been down since February of last year. What we need to do is either get it repaired through the company Comutech or Consultech, or simply get a new one. Whatever is the fastest thing to do is what I am prepared to do. And the governor has vowed his support in making this a reality. But what we're doing here right now is not at all sustainable.
Acting Manager of the Department of Waste Management, Mr. Neville Allen, provided some insight on the current methods that are being used by his department to manage and help mitigate the territory's waste while the incinerator remains out of commission.
With the absence of the incinerator running, we have to be processing the waste without the incinerator. And that involves a lot of heavy equipment, taking the waste to the dump site, have been spread and covered with topsoil to prevent any spontaneous combustions. So they're here now to look at what's happening and to offer any help or any assistance in that regard. And also to maybe help us to source another incinerator so we could reduce these issues that we're having right now.
Governor Ranking, following the tour, hinted at the possibility of having an incinerator in the territory that converts waste to energy, an option he believes will save residents money on their electricity bills.
Well, I'm very pleased to be here with the Minister this morning to come and speak and discuss with him and the manager the issues at the incinerator. I'm aware, like everybody else, of the problems with the continued use of landfill and the smoke and disturbance that's causing for people here in the Virgin Islands. So, as Governor, I'm keen to work constructively to try and find that solution, see if we can get an incinerator back up and working here, ideally an incinerator which could feed energy back into the grid and lower electricity costs for people here. So it's an environmental issue, it's an economic issue, but if we can get it right, we can make it better for everyone living here, and that's what I'll continue to work towards, working with the Minister accordingly.
Also present at the site visit was the Director General of the United Kingdom's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, Vijay Raghucharan, who said he is looking forward to the UK assisting in whatever way it can.
Coming to the incinerator, you really see the possibilities they've been setting out to leapfrog, to build something which then processes waste in a way that's environmentally sensitive, but also which produces energy, which I think is the kind of new generation of technologies coming around the world now to be as environmentally sensitive as we possibly can. So we're really looking forward to the UK helping in any way that we can to help BVI be as beautiful as it can be.
Windward Islands Airways International has announced that it will be introducing a new route from Tortola to Antigua, effective July 2023. The regional airline made the announcement in a recent post on their Facebook page confirming the new route. And I quote, "We are super excited to announce starting this July our new route from Tortola to Antigua." They continued, and I quote, "Exciting news. You already know we fly from St. Martin to Tortola, but starting this July, you can also fly with us from Tortola to Antigua," a subsequent post stated. Now, our news agency visited the airline's website and noted that one-way ticket prices from Tortola to Antigua range from $213 to $296, while round-trip prices range from $447 to $562, depending on the selected date. This news follows the airline's recent announcement of the addition of a DHC-300 aircraft to its fleet. They said, and I quote, "WINAIR is pleased to announce the acceptance of the cutting-edge DHC-300 aircraft equipped with the state-of-the-art Garmin 950 glass cockpit, revolutionizing aviation technology. This aircraft was accepted by WINAIR from the Unity Aviation Company in Calgary, Alberta, Canada." Viewers, up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
VI Motors is having a major auto sale on all parts. What? Come on out to our Dust Bottoms location on Friday the 30th of June from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. to enjoy 20% off all filters, including filters that are compatible with Kenworth tractors, Mack, and excavators. Get major discounts on tires. And yes, we even have tires for forklifts, big discounts on tools, batteries, generators, car accessories, lubricants, and much more parts and supplies. This is VI Motors' way of saying thank you for all your support over the years. So come on now to VI Motors on Friday, June 30th from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock and enjoy some great music, great food, and great giveaways, all while you capitalize on our massive auto parts sale. See you there. Yes!
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Continuing on, the attorney of former Premier Andrew Foy has filed an unopposed motion in the United States District Court, Southern District of Florida, to have Foy's case postponed for a third time from the latest date set for July 17, 2022, to a date no earlier than November 1st, 2023. Our Kamal Haynes has this report.
The information was confirmed in court documents seen by 284 Media, dated Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. The motion was filed by attorney Teresa Van Vliet, who argued that the United States government's refusal to provide requested information on the confidential source ahead of the trial, along with other factors, have impacted her ability to properly prepare ahead of the current set July trial date. But the document said, and I quote, "The undersigned does not have adequate time to prepare for a trial in this case in mid-July 2023, nor to address any pre-trial filings until the government completes its discovery obligations and until such time as the court may rule on the pending filings relating to the identity of the confidential informant," end quote. Van Vliet also informed the court that she was yet to receive information from U.S. government that was due to be submitted by mid-June, adding that a previously filed sealed motion was yet to be resolved. But the motion was filed on February 1st, 2023 for the production and inspection of Brady and Giglio material, requesting an order directing the U.S. government to respond to Foy's repeated requests for exculpatory and impeachment information related to the confidential source. But this request was declined by the U.S. government on February 10th, after which Foy responded, filing a reply on February 16th. Subsequent court hearings were held on March 10th and April 27th, where Foy presented supporting documents in a sealed ex-parte meeting that also saw the U.S. government submitting arguments on their concerns relating to the disclosure of the requested information. But the document said, and I quote, "The sealed motion and the response and reply thereto have not been resolved as of the date of this motion, and the June 16, 2023 deadline for the government to provide the requested information has passed under the terms of the protective order," end quote. The motion also addressed how the recent change in pleas by co-defendants Kadeem Maynard and Olivine Maynard has impacted the attorney's ability to be prepared by July 17th. The mother and son duo pleaded guilty to a count of conspiracy to import cocaine and signed off on a factual proffer which stated that between March 16, 2022 and April 28, 2022, they both, along with Premier Foy, conspired with each other and a purported cartel member to ship thousands of kilograms of cocaine through Tortola to the United States. Well, the document said, and I quote, "Undersigned counsel has conferred with counsel for the government and it anticipates being in a position to provide Giglio, Napiu, and other discovery relating to the Maynards in 2 weeks," end quote. Well, Van Vliet in her motion argued that with all the factors listed, there was insufficient time to file the motions, permit the U.S. government's response and any reply, and give the court time to consider the matter and or have an evidentiary hearing. The U.S. government, while admitting that it did not agree with the merits of Foy's pretrial motions and the need for an evidentiary hearing, agreed with Van Vliet that the current set trial date in July will not accommodate filings relating to the pretrial issues identified by the former premier. Well, the document continued, and I quote, "The undersigned is authorized to represent for the government that it awaits the court's order before it will disclose the identity of the confidential source and that it has not yet decided whether it will call the confidential source as a witness," end quote.
FAHIE'S trial was initially set to commence on July 18, 2022, before an unopposed motion was filed that resulted in the case being postponed to January 9, 2023. A second unopposed motion was filed in December 2022 to further delay the trial and resulted in the most recent date of July 17, 2023. Reporting for 284 News, I am Kamal Haynes.
New appointments were made at the BVI Red Cross Nonprofits Annual General Meeting on the 19th of June 2023. Ms. RENNEA Powell replaces Troy K. Christopher, who served as chairman from 2022. Other BVI Red Cross board members voted to the board are Mr. Esteban Smith, Mr. Michael B. Matthews, Mr. Theodore John, Secretary Mrs. Maria Abraham, and Treasurer Ms. Sylvia Romney Moses were re-elected. Ms. RENNEA Powell previously served as Secretary and Vice Chair of the board. The BVI Red Cross Director Ms. Stacy Lloyd commented on, quote, "I'm happy to welcome Ms. Powell as our new chairperson as well as the other new board members. Our board reflects the diversity of our volunteer base. I'm confident that this new elected board will continue to propel the organizations from strength to strength in line with our mission of assisting the most vulnerable population during crises. The board upholds, they say, the core ethos and values of the BVI Red Cross. It sets and reviews policies, maintains the organization's financial integrity, and evaluates its operations and effectiveness. Its role includes safeguarding the long-term reputation and assets of the branch and appointing the director who is responsible for the operational management of the organization. The mission of the British Virgin Islands Red Cross is to mobilize the power of humanity so that individuals and communities have the capacity to prepare for, deal with, and recover from crises. The BVI Red Cross is the oldest non-profit organization within the Virgin Islands, having been established since 1956. Now, the Red Cross movement is the largest volunteer-based international humanitarian organization in the world. Viewers, up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man forget you.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. On to the final leg of our newscast. Some 19 athletes from 3 sports have been selected to represent the British Virgin Islands in the upcoming 24th Central American and Caribbean Games in El Salvador, from June 23rd to July 8th, 2023. The BVI Olympic Committee confirmed the athletes in a media release on Wednesday. They said the 9 athletes include Laser sailor Thad Letsom, archer Risontu, Georges, track athletes Recoy Brathwaite, Beyonce DeFreitas, Dia Erickson, and Jaleel Kroll, and field athletes Olympian Eldred Henry, Digimon Gums, and Gigimonte Gums. Georges will compete in the women's compound individual starting on Sunday, July 2nd at 9 a.m. at the Palongo de Churro, Con Acoko, Mitorot. Speaking of the Games, BVI OC President Ephraim Penn said it is seen as an important qualifying and ranking opportunity for the athletes from all sports. He also highlighted some of the very historic feats of this year's Games, adding that he anticipates tough competition from the other athletes. He said, and I quote, "It will be the very first time that the archery will be represented at these Games, and the second time for the sailing since 1993 in Ponce, Puerto Rico. Athletics has seen representation since the VI's very first participation in the CACs in 1982 and has included softball, squash, triathlon, and cycling. This historic achievement for archery is a promising trajectory for the development of different sports within the territory of the Virgin Islands and brings to fruition one of the BVI OC's missions for this quadrennial to have more sports compete at major games," Mr. Penn stated. Now, viewers, the BVI OC also provided details on other events that will be taking place. Letsom competing in the ILAC 7 men's single-person dinghy event is the first of the VI's team to compete when the sailing events start on Saturday, June 24th at Lake Lopano. Letsom is also selected to be the flag bearer at the opening ceremony on Friday, June 23rd, the BVI OC stated. Now, as it relates to the event for the track athletes, the release said Brathwaite and DeFreitas will compete in the 100-meter semifinals on July 3rd at 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. respectively, while Erickson will take part in the 100-meter hurdles semifinals starting at 5:45 p.m. on Tuesday, July 4th on the following day. Kroll will compete in the 200-meter semifinals starting at 5 p.m., while DeFreitas will return to contest the 200-meter semifinals starting at 5:30 p.m. The all-men field athletes of Henry and twins Digimon and Gimonte will compete in the shot put final on Monday, July 3rd, starting at 5:25 p.m., and both gentlemen will return to compete, that's the Gums twins, in the discus final on Wednesday, July 5th, starting at 6:55 p.m. Now, in addition to the athletes, the full BVI delegation will also include Chef de Mission Gloria Foy, President Penn, Erwin Reds Telemac, Wynette Lawrence, Xavier Bucks, Chris Waters, and Chester James. The VI will be one of the 37 countries represented at the CAC Games, the Games under the auspices of Central Carib. On the regional scene, a prominent government official in Guyana, Minister Nigel Dahamal, is facing a serious investigation after being arrested on charges of rape on an indigenous teenager. According to his attorney, Nigel Hughes Darmamel, who holds the position of Minister for Local Government and Regional Development, has refuted all allegations made against him. Darmamel, who is known to frequently interact with indigenous communities in his official capacity, was apprehended on Monday. Although he has been released on bail, he must report to the investigating detectives on a daily basis. Now, in response to the allegations, President Irfan Ali has placed Darmamel on leave pending the outcome of the investigation. No charges have been filed against him thus far. The case took a concerning turn when authorities revealed that the teenage girl had allegedly been asked to be released from her parents' custody due to alleged pressure from the ruling party officials to accept monetary compensation as a settlement. Assistant Police Chief Wendell Luham stated on Wednesday that the investigation findings would likely be submitted to the state prosecutor's office in the coming days for a determination on whether there is sufficient evidence to file charges against Darmamel. The situation has garnered, of course, significant attention from the civil society leaders, opposition politicians, and human rights organizations within Guyana, including the Amerindian People's Association. they're closely monitoring the case and have called for an impartial investigation. In a statement, the association commended the victim for her bravery in coming forward and expressed hope that she would be free from fear and intimidation while maintaining her utmost security and that of her family. Viewers, that is it for today's News Roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com, and of course, like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a beautiful and enjoyable evening. A happy Thursday. Goodbye.